guys, it's another week and we are back for some more Championship transfer rumours. Let's jump into it. Guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. As you know, I absolutely love doing these videos and thank you for all the support that you have been showing on them recently. If we get it 400 likes on today's video, that would be massively appreciated. We've got quite a few big transfer rumours to go over in today's video. We've also got some completed deals to go through as well as the season is edging closer and closer. How are you guys feeling at the moment? Do you feel like your club still needs to do quite a bit of business, or are you fairly happy with the stuff your club's done so far? Without any further ado though, let's hop into some completed transfers. Starting out with Kiyo, who has completed a deal with Blackpool. This one caught me off guard a little bit, and at first I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of this deal, but the more I've thought on it, the more this deal for Blackpool in terms of where they are at the moment, this probably makes sense. Before the arrival of Kiyo, the average age of all the other 7 signings that Blackpool have made in this window so far were just 22.4 years old, so it's obvious that Blackpool are building a very sort of young core group of players that are coming up to the Championship this season. Kiyo's going to come in and add experience to what is already a fairly youthful group. You know, he's a veteran of the Championship. He's made over 400 appearances at this level. I think he's the 7th most capped Championship player of all time, actually. His addition also could hint towards Blackpool moving to a 3 at the back system going into next season as well, with the options they have at the back now. Kiyo obviously being that sort of, you know, ball playing centre half. He certainly has had his up and down moments. Spent the second half of last season at Huddersfield, but yeah, in terms of adding that experience, you can see why he's gone in there. Dion Sandison has completed a loan deal to Birmingham for this season. This comes after he's just recently renewed his contract with Wolves. Now, with Dion Sandison, there was a lot of Championship interest, as well as interest coming from League One, most notably from Sunderland, where he spent last season out on loan. Dion Sandison, fairly versatile defender, can either play as a fullback, where we saw him play quite a bit at Cardiff, or as a centre half, where he played quite a bit at Sunderland, so Birmingham have got another option at the back there. Adan Muskawi has completed the move to Luton Town. The Leicester City striker joins the Hatters for an undisclosed fee. He spent the second half of last season out on loan at Wycombe, where he scored 3 goals in that time. Did fairly well, actually. His overall play was pretty good. Luton were targeting another player in this area, you know, after the departure of James Collins. They were looking a little bit light up front, so yeah, that one ticks a lot of boxes. And sticking with Luton, there was some big news in terms of a contract extension. Ruddock has extended his contract at Luton, which is absolutely massive news to them. Big fan of him and his overall story. You know, he's been there the last 8 years. He's come through Luton through the Football League, and there were plenty of other Championship clubs who were sniffing around him, most notably Middlesbrough, who definitely had an interest in the player, but he has chosen to stay on at Luton, which I'm sure all you guys are absolutely buzzing about. But there we have it, guys. Those are some of the completed deals which have gone through in the last week or so. Now, without any further ado, let's hop over to some transfer rumours. Starting out with Crooks, whose deal to Middlesbrough looks to be almost over the line as of recording. He did well for Rotherham last season, particularly in the second half of the season. He scored 6 goals and picked up 3 assists in that time. He's fairly versatile in the roles that he can take up within the squad, playing anywhere throughout midfield or up front as well. He can be quite a physical player, can't he? Definitely fits the profile in terms of the sort of player that Neil Warnock would have been after for this sort of window, and that one ticks a lot of boxes for Borough. The next 3 players we may as well talk about all at once, because it could be a potential reunion for Junior Hoilett, Kadeem Harris and Sol Bamba, all linking up with manager Neil Warnock once again. All 3 of them are currently free agents and are being heavily linked with a move to the Riverside. Obviously, Hoilett and Kadeem Harris would both add wide options coming into that Borough squad, and Sol Bamba would add a wealth of experience at the back, who has been training with Borough recently. Watford have been the latest club to be linked to Blackburn Rovers striker Adam Armstrong. Now, there was a potential swap deal which was talked about, although things have cooled slightly since this was originally suggested, with a potential cash plus player swap deal with Andre Gray heading in the opposite direction. Obviously, Andre Gray previously of Burnley. I'm sure that would be a little bit controversial, but it seems like Andre Gray's not part of Watford's long-term plans going forward, so they are looking to ship him off regardless. But it looks as if Blackburn are just interested in cash for Armstrong. Blackburn's still wanting, you know, 20 million plus for Armstrong. Had he still had several years left on his contract, no doubt he would have been worth that, but the fact that he's only got 12 months left on it may depreciate his value a little bit. Freddie Woodman has been linked with a loan move to Bournemouth. This comes after it's looking like Asmir Begovic is on the verge of signing for Everton. Bournemouth then will of course be in the market for a goalkeeper. Now, they do have Mark Travers, who is, you know, maybe wanting to step up, but whether he's ready or not for first team action, I'm not so sure. And Freddie Woodman is just great at this level. You know, he won the Championship Golden Glove last season with Swansea. In his last 2 seasons out on loan at Swansea, he's been absolutely fantastic. You know, last season he kept 21 clean sheets for them. It would be a very good signing if they were to get that one done and over the line as a loan deal for the season. Liverpool look set to offload defender Ben Davies on loan for the season after never playing for them, which I'm still absolutely gutted about. Now, we spoke about Ben Davies in the last video. He had links to both Celtic and to Bournemouth, but Sheffield United have been the latest club to be linked to the defender, and it makes sense given their current situation with Jack O'Connell. He's had an injury setback in terms of his recovery, and he could be missing up to another 12 months. For that reason, Sheffield United will be in the market for a left-sided defender, and when we're talking about left-sided Championship defenders, they don't come much better than Ben Davies for me. Brilliant ball-playing defender, would slot in with relative ease at Sheffield United for me. That one ticks so many boxes for what Sheffield United are looking for at the moment. Conor Hourihane has also been linked with the move to Sheffield United at this point in time. West Brom have also been linked to the Aston Villa midfielder who spent the second half of last season out on loan at Swansea. Now, in terms of Sheffield United's interest, it makes sense with them previously being linked to Tom Cairney, although that seems to have gone quiet recently, as it wouldn't look like a deal would be attainable for Cairney in this window. So it's clear to see that Sheffield United are after a sort of creative midfielder to come in. Conor Hourihane's quite an interesting one really, because I think that his quality on the ball in the Championship is absolutely undeniable. You know, he showed that at Swansea last season. He got 5 goals, a couple of assists in his time there as well. From set pieces, he's absolutely brilliant. The only sort of drawback you get with him is probably his work rate off the ball. I know that Swansea fans got a little bit annoyed with that sort of thing last season, but regardless, Hourihane for me is a top Championship player and would be a nice addition into that Sheffield United side. Now, Harry Wilson has had a lot of speculation surrounding him in this transfer window so far, and Fulham have been the latest Championship club to be linked to the winger. We've also seen West Brom linked with him. Swansea at one point were being talked about. We've had some Premier League interest in the player, as well as Benfica, who have also been interested with a potential deal for the Liverpool winger. Now, at Championship level, there's no doubt in Harry Wilson's ability. He's absolutely brilliant. He had 18 goal involvements with Cardiff last season, and this would be a real statement of intent if Fulham were able to get this deal done and over the line. It would also put a question mark into Anthony Knockaert's future at Fulham. Should Wilson come in, because they're pretty sort of similar players, both play on that right hand side, like to cut inside onto that left foot, whether Knockaert's then happy to sort of be a backup or Fulham are just looking to ship him out. Preston North End are said to be still weighing up their options in terms of a striker for this transfer window. One name that has popped up recently though has been Manchester City youngster Liam Delap. Now, Preston do play Man City in a pre-season friendly next week, so after that, you know, we may get a little bit more on this deal, but I think that Man City are still yet to make a decision on what they want to do with Delap, whether they want him to be in and around that team going into next season, or they're happy to let him go out on loan into the Championship. There's no doubt in my mind that Preston need to bring in a striker. I don't think we're strong enough up top at the moment. If we did get Delap in on a loan deal, that'd be quite exciting. Adan Danjuma is getting a lot of interest at the moment, and understandably so, and Villarreal have been the latest club to be linked to the Bournemouth winger. Reportedly, they had a bid rejected earlier in the month for Danjuma of around about £13 million. Now, Bournemouth are said to be looking for upwards of 30 million, in and around 35 million for Danjuma. So that £30 million bid that came in is way off the mark for what Bournemouth are looking for at the moment. There's also been Premier League interest in Danjuma as well. We've spoken about that on previous videos, but I think that this is going to be one of the transfer sagas that rumbles on for quite some time now. Moses Thebajo has been linked to QPR. He has been training with QPR since he's been released by Sheffield Wednesday and has featured in their pre-season friendlies and schedules so far. The defender's 27 years old now and has previously worked with Mark Warburton at Brentford, which is probably where he played the best football of his career, to be honest with you. Obviously after that he made his move over to Hull, and then at Sheffield Wednesday he's just coming off the back of really quite a disappointing season. Birmingham have been linked to a few goalkeepers. Bailey Peacock-Farrell has been linked with a potential loan deal on the cards here. Burnley have recently signed Wayne Hennessy, so that would make Bailey Peacock-Farrell available for a loan deal going into next season. If this was to happen, you'd expect him to be a backup anyway to Neil Etheridge. Birmingham have also been linked to Marcus Bettinelli, who's available on a free transfer. Preston North End fullback Joe Rafferty has recently been linked with a move to Sunderland. This one probably makes sense with Preston recently bringing in Matthew Wallace-Sunday. It's another player who's going to be ahead of Rafferty in the pecking order. I know that we don't necessarily maybe have the most depth then at right back, but with us looking to go with a sort of 3 at the back system with 2 wing backs, Tom Barkhuizen looks pretty comfortable playing that right wing back role as well, which pushes Rafferty even further then down the pecking order. And with the arrivals that North End have had in this transfer window so far, we are going to look to get some of the sort of deadwood or those squad players off the wage bill. And the departure for Rafferty, I wouldn't be all too surprised at. Swansea City's Matt Grimes is a wanted man at the moment. He's got Premier League interest from the likes of Southampton and Newcastle, as well as a couple of Championship clubs chasing him at the moment, with both Bournemouth and Fulham being linked to the midfield now. I believe he's now heading into the final season of his contract, so Swansea are going to need to make some sort of decision on him fairly swiftly. Each season that Swansea have been back down in the Championship, they've tended to sell 1 or 2 sort of key saleable assets per season in order to balance the books. So this could be a developing story which continues to unfold over the next few weeks. But one player they could be adding into their midfield is Sheffield Wednesday captain Barry Bannan, who has been linked with a move to Swansea as of late. I also think at one point he was being linked with a move to Brentford as well, but there's been countless links with Bannan since Wednesday's relegation to League One. No doubt a Championship quality player. I think he was 7th in the Championship last season for the most amount of key passes made. Swansea need a little bit more creativity moving up the pitch as well, with them no longer having Conor Hourihane. Obviously Barry Bannan's another one of those players with just a wand of a left foot. From Sheffield Wednesday's perspective though, they'll be desperate to keep hold of him, as he's going to be, you know, one of their key players in their revival from League One. Blackpool are interested in bringing in Elly Emden, who spent the second half of this last season there on loan from Sunderland. He played a key role in the end in their playoff campaign, scoring in that playoff semi-final second leg and getting an assist in the final. Now, he's only 22 years old. Sunderland seem to have him as part of their plans going into next season, but Blackpool want to try and tempt him away on a permanent basis this time round. The valuation that Blackpool have of him and that Sunderland have of him are said to be quite far apart at this point in time though, so a deal doesn't look like it's anywhere near completion at this point. But there we have it guys, that will wrap it up for today's video. Like I said, we had loads of rumours to go through in today's video, but if you've seen any others that we didn't mention in today's video, make sure to get them in the comments down below. As always, if you did go on to enjoy, make sure to leave a like and do stick around and subscribe for a bit of regular Championship content. But apart from that, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.